What's up guys, Marco here, welcome to another video. Today we're going to take a look at one of the most challenging guitar techniques for both beginners and intermediate guitar players. I'm obviously referring to the bar chord technique or the barre technique, which is the left hand technique that allows you to press down multiple strings, like this. Now I've wrote a song that has a lot of bar chords in it. We're going to take a look at it and we're going to learn how to play different bar chords. We're going to start with 2 strings, then 3 strings, 4 strings, 5, and then up to 6 strings. Now the bar chord is really challenging for many different reasons, and one of the reasons is obviously because it takes a lot of strength and control to press down multiple strings with one finger. Just think about playing an F sharp major chord. You have to press down on the fret 2, 6 strings, and then play with the other fingers as well. And even chords such as the B minor chord, where you press down only 5 strings, is still pretty challenging. To be honest, even if you just have to press down 1 fret, it can take a lot of time for you to achieve this technique, even without using any other finger. So we're going to start with a set of rules that should really help you figure out how to position the fingers correctly. Rule number 1 is very simple. Hide the thumb behind the neck. You want to keep it behind the neck, like this. This is what a classical guitar player will do. So you never want to have the thumb sitting on top of the neck like this. Rule number 2, keep the palm down. There should be space between the bottom neck and the palm, like this. So you never want to grab the neck like this. That will make it impossible to play a bar chord. So lower the thumb and keep the palm away from the bottom neck. Rule number 3, make sure that you keep the index finger straight and press down with all the knuckles. With this knuckle and this knuckle as well. Most of the time when you play a 6 strings bar chord, you will see that the G string as well as the B string are muted, and this is because you're not pressing with this knuckle. So keep the index finger straight. Rule number 4, keep the finger close to the fret wire on the right. So you want to have it really, really close. You don't want to go on top of the fret wire, but very close to it. Rule number 5, the last one, make sure that you adjust the index finger based on the chords that you are playing. A 6 strings bar chord will have a slightly different position than a 3 strings bar chord. The index finger will press the strings in a slightly different way. For example, on 3 strings I'm pressing down with just 1 knuckle, just this one. On 4 strings I'm pressing down with 2 knuckles. So you will always have to adjust the index finger position slightly. Now that we have these rules out of the way, let's just learn the chord progression. Now we're going to start with the 3 strings bar chord. I have a D major and a D major 7 chord. So I'm putting down a bar chord on fret number 2 and the B string fret number 3. Then I get rid of the second finger and just play the bar chord, the D major 7, beautiful sounding chord. And then a G major 7 and a G6. The G major 7 is just, the lowest string fret 3 and the top E string fret number 2. And then the E string open. The picking pattern is very simple. I'm playing a triplet, so I have 1, 2, 3, and then the D major 7. So thumb and ring, middle, and index. And then 2 more times without the bass note. So it's 1, 2, 3, then the D major 7, the G major 7, and the G6. Then I'm gonna play an E minor 7, really interesting chord, and A major, and back to the D major. Now the E minor 7 is played like this. You have the G string fret number 4 and then 3 and 3. So it's either a 2 strings bar chord or a 3 strings bar chord. And you want to play it with the low E string open. So it's an E minor 7 chord. We're literally playing a G major chord with the low E string. And so it's an E minor 7. Same picking pattern. And then we're going to slide this chord all the way up to fret number 5. So I have 6 and 5 and 5 on bar chord on fret 5. And I have the A string open. You can also change the voicing of this chord if you want and play the top E string fret 5, 7, and back to 5. And then we'll go back to the D major chord. This time we're going to play it in the classical way, just the 2, 3, and 2 like this. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna play it twice. The first time just the chord, and the second time I have the D major, D sus2. So I'm gonna get rid of the middle finger and back to the D major. So as you can see, guys, I'm always referring to all these rules that we learned. For example, when I play the D major chord, I make sure that my thumb is all the way down. There is space between the bottom neck and the palm. The finger is very close to the fret wire on the right. And I keep the index finger straight. Now I have a lot of space between the index and the middle finger. Some guitar players will play like this. And this is absolutely fine. If you can't really stretch that much, it's absolutely fine. Just make sure that you keep the middle finger closer to the bar and you will be fine. I also highly recommend that you practice these chords without the finger picking pattern and just isolate some of the chords. For example, D major 7, D major, and then D major 7. And then you could do E minor 7 and A major. And just practice this slowly. Now in the next section we're going to modulate to the E minor key. We're going to play it like this. Now the B7 is played like this. You have 2, 1, 2 open, and 2. We're going to play the same picking pattern. So we have thumb and ring, middle and index. And then we have the third time the bass note on the D string fret 1. So you have 1, 2, 3. And then we change chord. Now we're still gonna play a B7, B dominant 7, but we're gonna change the voicing and play this beautiful chord. It's a bar chord on fret number 4 and the top E string fret number 5. And we play the same picking pattern. And then we play the E minor chord, which is the easiest chord in this song. So it's all open strings except for the top E string fret 3, 3, 5, and 7. And you let it ring out. Now for this chord, we're going to use an exercise that it's really helpful to develop also the bar chord technique. We're going to go on and off with the bar chord technique. So we're going to play it like this. So I'm playing the B minor chord on 5 and 1. Then 2 and then 3, and then I'm gonna keep the bass note down. I'm gonna get rid of the bar and play the E string open, the B string fret 3 and the G string fret 4, and then I'm gonna bring the bar chord down again and play 2, 3, and 4. So 1, 2, 3. Notice that now when I'm pressing down 5 strings, I'm pushing with this knuckle as well as this knuckle. And then I'm going to play the last chord, which is 6 strings bar chord, an F major chord. I have a bar chord on fret number 2 and then the G string for number 3. We're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to play the low E string and the top E string, the B string and the G string. Then I'm going to get rid of the bar chord. I'm going to keep the bass note though, okay? So 1, 2, and I'm playing the E string open, B string open, and the G string fret number 3. And then I put the bar chord down again, and I play 2, 2, and 3. So slowly, 1, 2, 3. And we finish with the B minor chord. So just the same chord with the arpeggio. Definitely not the easiest technique, but I do feel and I do believe that every guitar player should learn how to master the bar chord technique and some of these bar chords. Now you really want to take it step by step. You can just isolate some of these chords and play them over and over, and then you can move on to the 4 strings bar chord and the 5 strings and the 6 strings bar chord when you feel ready. So just start with 3 strings and then move on to the next one when you feel that your fingers are getting stronger. You can get the tab if you need it. Just check my Patreon page and support this channel. Now I'm going to leave you to practice this, and I'll talk to you next time for another lesson.